All right, before we get started with today's episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, I would like to give a shout out to Marcus Anderson and his business, A Cheesecake Will Do. That's right, a cheesecake will do. Mr. Anderson specializes in making homemade cheesecakes such as strawberry, blueberry, and raspberry. Also, you got to check out his specialty cheesecakes as well too, such as Samoa flavored, pecan pie, apple pie, and honey bun. That honey bun sounds real delicious. Also, it's Christmas, and you can't forget the holiday cheesecakes as well too. Check out his eggnog cheesecake. Oh, that sounds delicious. And I love eggnog despite what everybody says. But that's neither here nor there. You should check him out on Facebook at his like page, A Cheesecake Will Do. You can also hit him up via the telephone at 843-447-0958. And if you're hungry, why wait? Grab yourself a cheesecake because a cheesecake will do. Now on to this week's episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddie Cool. The Sports Bros Podcast is a sports podcast that's by the fans, for the fans. Talking sports, just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. No, it's not time for another episode of AEW Dynamite, but instead it's time for a special edition of the Sports Bros Podcast. Now, I know you woke up Tuesday morning and was like, man, where the bros at? Where the bros at? Just like everything else when it comes to holidays, it's out of whack. We got mildly out of whack, but in the words of the almighty Be Live, I digress. And we're back with another action-packed episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas and an awesome holiday season. Shout out to everybody and anybody within the sound of my voice. Thoughts and prayers go out to everybody and anybody that need them. And let's have some fun, shall we? With that being said, I'm flanked by two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty Be Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? When I tell you that I am, for one and foremost, need all the prayers in the world. One of my prayers were answered this past Monday, because when I tell you I was praying in fantasy football land, it was Sunday night, right? I was praying. When I tell you I was praying hard and my prayers were answered, because the beating that the Cowboys put on the Redskins and Dak Prescott just running up the score, and I was going against Trey Dizzle and his disdain for Dak Prescott almost got him to the championship. But because the Cowboys were up so much, they pulled Dak Prescott out of the game, and he came just a bit shy of beating me. And I am now going for my fourth Sports Bros, a.k.a. better, also known as Cool Football League championship. Fourth? Yes, fourth. Yes, I won this league.
You're fourth in 3 years?
No, it used to be the Cool Football League. Now it's a Sports Bros fantasy football league. And so yeah.
You knew it was coming. I was waiting on it. Just like
they still title in 3 years. Congratulations.
They recognize the championships that have been won before the Super Bowl. It's the same exact thing. I don't want to hear it.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. How is it not? Please tell me. You know, listen, we haven't even got through the introductions yet, but go ahead and introduce that other guy.
A whole other league with a whole other name.
They can introduce the other guy.
Introduce the other guy.
And speaking of the other guy, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, and doesn't believe that titles from another league should be carried over to the next league. He is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the man himself, the money man, Scottie D.
Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. Woo! What a year it's been, and we're gonna voyage on into Deuce, baby. Oh man, I am excited for this year coming up because there could be a Super Bowl trophy in my future, another Stanley Cup in my future. I am excited for Deuce, and boys, Happy New Year to you both. Glad to be going into this year literally with my arms around you guys. So it's been a great year for our show. I think we had a we actually upgraded. It was during this year that we started doing the video conferencing thing that I think has actually made our show vastly improved. And so I'm excited to see what we got going on here on this show too in the future. So Happy New Year, fellas. Let's do it.
Yep, we're going to have fun, and more fun. That is right. All right, now going into the top of the order. Week 16 of the NFL. We got a few more weeks left in the regular season, and some playoff seedings have been clinched. Some are still up in the air. Fellas, we're going to do it a little something like this week. We're going to do 4 things. The signature win this past week, a signature loss this past week, a WTF game of this past week, and also the game we're looking forward to next week. All right? Scottie D, signature win this past week, week 16 of the NFL. What you got?
Well, I had a couple different ones in mind, but how can I not say the Cowboys in this one? Because we really, really needed to see a good performance from Dak Prescott, because it's been misery watching this guy play for the last 6 weeks, even though they've been winning. And he came out and he looked good. He looked good. I compared him a couple weeks ago, his performance. I said it was worse than I've seen, like in the backyard football. I did say that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little heated that week. I even did a funny face that you captured in the middle of all that. That's my Facebook profile picture at the moment. Yeah, something like that. But he looked more like himself this past week. He was a little bit mobile. His passes looked crisper than they had. He got Amari Cooper involved in the offense, and he called for that. Cooper did earlier in the week in an interview. So there was a handful of teams I thought that really made statements that, on their season to where we're at in the season. And I think the Cowboys definitely, they needed not only just to beat Washington, because Washington is depleted with injuries and quarterback problems. If you're going to be a good championship team, you need to knock a team like that on their rear end. And they did that. So, it wasn't the Cowboys needed that because of the positioning, but it was how they won. Great play on defense, great play on special teams. They scored in all aspects of the game. Even offensive linemen scored for us this past week. So I'll go with America's team. Be Live. How about you?
Before I go into my my pick, my game, my statement, my signature win, Emmanuel Acho on Fox Sports 1, Speak for Yourself, had a very, very good statement he made about the Cowboys beating the Redskins. He said, and I quote, "I am not going to applaud a fish for swimming. The Cowboys are supposed to beat the Redskins, especially when they were depleted and the Cowboys are getting healthy. So congratulations for Tada doing what you're supposed to be doing."
And that's what they did, but that's not what they had been doing. They struggled against Washington just 2 weeks ago. So that's why this was important for them to what?
They still won.
I know, I understand that, but we talked about how Dak has not looked good this past and going into December or going into January, we need that guy, because as good as the defensives played, they played against Heineke twice and the goofy quarterback from New Orleans, and and Mike Glennon, and the goofy quarterback from New Orleans, whoever the guy that runs around and stuff. They beat that guy. Yeah, that guy there. So they won those games, with the defense looking really good. But those aren't the guys they're going to be facing in January. It's not going to be as easy going against Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. So at that point, you're going to need Dak Prescott to play better. And he showed the other night that he's maybe getting back on track. I mean, it's only one game against a bad team, but that's what we're talking about for this week, one game.
All right. I appreciate that. Scott. You know what? I see where you're getting at. And with what you the statement that you made, I got to change my answer on the fly because I just realized, just like you needed Dak Prescott to step up and be that quarterback that can lead a team and deep into the playoffs, etc. We saw something that we hadn't seen in quite some time, and the signature win I have to say from this past week, I switched it. I changed it up. The Indianapolis Colts over the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Because you know what we saw? We saw a really, really good Carson Wentz. Did you see that one play where he threw us like basically a sidearm throw, had this amount of room to get through for that touchdown that he threw? I think it was to Michael Pittman, was it? It could I don't remember who he threw it to. No, it might have been, was it T.Y. Hilton or was that
I want to say
I think it could have been he threw two. He threw one to T.Y. Hilton, he threw one to Desmond Patman. But either way, like that one throw that he threw, and like he looked great. Arizona's defense is not one to play with. And Arizona is already proven themselves to be one of the better teams. And these are the games you have to win. Of course, in the playoffs, you win these games or you go home. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan Taylor can run for his life all day long. That dude is MVP caliber. But you need strong quarterback play in the postseason. And I think this right here, I don't think you want to play the Colts in the postseason if they're passing and running the ball successfully. So this right here, I think, was a huge statement win, a signature win for the Indianapolis Colts. I had to switch that up. Scottie D, I appreciate you for bringing that to my attention. You need strong quarterback play, and I think Colts, Carson Wentz, stay healthy. You've done it before. You've led the Eagles to the promised land and then got hurt. Can you do it again? This is your time to prove to the world that you got it and you are that next level quarterback.
But earlier today, that he got placed on the COVID list. Mm-hmm. So that could be a key element to this week's game going against the Raiders. But they won last week with a dude thrown for 57 yards. So there's a lot to this Colts team beyond quarterback play, and I don't trust him in the playoffs to put together a run necessary to go deep. He did have a good game last week, though. This past week he did play well. This was
the game that we need to see him play against a good Arizona team, and he showed up. So this could be that. This could be what we need to see from Carson Wentz to make it happen. Eddie Cool, your answer. That's why I switched on the fly on top of that, because we had the same answer, but I think you can emphasize your answer much better now. Eddie Cool, tell them what you got.
All right, so signature win would be the Cincinnati Bengals over the Baltimore Ravens. I was at work when this game was being played, but after I got off work, I looked at my phone, the Bleacher Report app, and it was like Joe Burrow threw for 525 yards and 4 touchdowns. I was like, oh, okay, against the Ravens. Solid defense. Because you remember earlier this year, fellas, when we were together in Pittsburgh, we saw these same Bengals beat up it was the Bengals that beat up the Ravens, right?
Yeah. Bengals beat the Ravens at their place when we were all together in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. They beat the brakes off of them. It was what was the score like? What was it? 40?
They beat them well. Yeah, they beat them good. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. Go ahead, be live.
I'll say all I know is that Joe Burrow has almost put up a stack, almost 1,000 yards against the Ravens. So
yeah,
he threw for 400 and some change in that game.
Yeah,
and he threw for 525. So there's a certain defensive coordinator on the Ravens that might need to wink. that might need the STFU.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Cool, could you? I want you to opine on that because it was your idea. I love that. I brought the art to it.
So if you remember the Last Dance last year that kept us alive and going, something happened as to where somebody said, was it LeBrandon? What's that guy name? LeBrandon? I forgot what his name is. LeBrandon, whatever, right? And so
I think he said, "Good game, Mike."
yeah, and he said, "Good game, Mike." And he looked at LeBrandon like, "Good game," and Mike was like, "I took that personal," and so I took that personal from that has become a meme ever since. Well, through our graphics design department, aka B Live, and also Reese Jenkins as well too. B Live decided to put a little Last Dance twist on it, and he had the comment where Wink Martindale said, where he said what he said about, hey, Joe Burrow was good, but let's not go ahead and give him a gold jacket quite yet. And B Live took Joe Burrow's head, and it was like, I took that personally. Well, obviously he did, and the press conference was funny, and they was like, so was that not in the back of your mind? And Joe, in a coy manner, maybe.
He admitted that. I know that was kind of
cool. Maybe.
Yeah,
so,
of course it was.
Yeah. Who you fooling, Joe? This man gonna tell you you're only in your second year, Joe. We're not gonna give you a gold jacket yet. Tell you what, hold my national championship cigar. I got stuff to do. And so that was not a good. That was a big win for the Bengals. I'll go ahead and say this. With the combination of T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Joe Mixon, the NFC North has been, after Sunday, the Bengals have put the NFC North on notice.
AFC North.
That's why I said AFC North, right? AFC North or NFC?
AFC. I thought you said NFC. I can't hear.
Well, I'll do it again. The Northern Division of the American Football Conference. So he put the AFC North on notice. Like, hey, Joe Burrow ain't nothing to mess with. I mean, just imagine, it's just, I think with Cincinnati, everything's finally clicking. And they said, Joe Burrow, he begged to get his college teammate there, and it worked out. Because we all said, they need to get an offensive line. They need an offensive line. And then Joe Burrow is doing what he's doing with a so-so offensive line. But now, Joe, you can get your offensive line. And once you have your fully functional offensive line, you got 2,000. Yeah, you already got 2,000-yard receivers and 1,000-yard running back, and you passed for like 4,000 yards already. So the Bengals definitely put the AFC North on notice as they are at the top of the division.
I want to say that's never happened in the NFL.
It hasn't. No, I read the stat, and it hasn't. For them to have 2,000-yard receivers, a 4,000-yard pass, and a 1,000-yard running back, the first time ever.
And I'm gonna throw another caveat out there. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, all are 25 years of age or younger. Joe Burrow's 25, and that Joe Burrow is a young 25 because he was a fifth-year senior when he left college. So he's only had 2 years in the league. So he's 25. Joe Mixon Dixon is 25. Jamar Chase is 21. And T. Higgins is 22 years old. That could be dangerous for years to come.
Future's bright in Cincy.
Very bright. Now
guys, you know what? We may have glossed over what was like when the dust all settles in this season, and we look back to this week. We may have missed the signature win of the week, and that was Buffalo going to New England.
Yep.
Because we've been talking all this stuff about New England, how good they are. They're back on track. And they went to Buffalo and beat them without even throwing the ball just 3 weeks ago. And it looked like all signs are pointing to the Patriots rolling into another division title. And the Bills went up there, and it was visible. You could see it. They had a chip on their shoulder. They were angry. They were going for it on fourth down no matter what. They weren't kicking. They were not going to come out of there without winning that game. And Josh Allen, I think, had his biggest game of the season. While the Chiefs are having their own signature win of just busting up Pittsburgh, the Bills now look like the team that we talked about back in August. We said we think the Bills have the best chance of anybody of dethroning Kansas City, and then they didn't really look like it all year. Well, this look like they're ready to compete with the Chiefs for the best team in the AFC, I thought.
Don't be surprised if there is a third game between the Patriots and the Bills, and it will be good.
Sign me up for it. I'd love to see
I
that.
would love to see that. Absolutely. So we shall see, man. You got me excited.
I'm pumped up now. I'm excited.
These next 2 weeks is going to be phenomenal to watch.
I'm ready for the playoffs. I don't want the extra week. I'm ready. 16-game season is enough. I'm ready for the playoffs now.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely understand that.
There's still a lot to iron out. There's still so much.
A lot.
Because which conference is it where there's like 7 spots up for grabs? Is it the NFC?
Or the
AFC, right?
Well, the thing about it is a lot of teams have already clinched in the NFC. The AFC, let me pull this up real quick. They're right now, as it sits, between
it's like 11 teams compete for the last spot.
Between third place, 3rd and 11th place, there's 1 game separate.
1 game separate, right? Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Cincinnati's in 3rd place at 9-6. The Raiders at 8-7 are in 11th place. There's so much to iron out. There's no rest for the AFC.
No.
The NFC, they can rest a little bit. AFC, the only team that can rest in the AFC is Kansas City. They're the only ones that can rest. They have clinched their division. They really still can't rest because they're only 1 game ahead of the Titans for that for a home field advantage. But they're comfortable. They're in. Tennessee still hasn't clinched yet.
The Colts are breathing down their neck.
Yeah,
right.
The division, yeah. I mean,
it's gonna be melee. So speaking of that, what about the losses? Eddie Cool? Throw us into that next part right there.
All right, I'll lead off on that one. The signature losses of this past week. I'll say this. I was sitting right here in my house in Northeast Ohio, and I was watching the game. The Cleveland Browns, with a close but devastating loss to the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to put it on gallery view because I want everybody to see this. To the Green Bay Packers on Christmas Day. So dig this. Baker Mayfield throws not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions, right?
Yep.
So I said to myself, and like Scottie D, like we had a little pre-production meeting. There was one of those interceptions where it's like, that wouldn't have happened. If one thing would have happened, then the interception would have happened. So I went and looked at the stats after the game because I'm over here like, what the hell's going on? And one stat stood out that I saw during the game. The Cleveland Browns had 219 yards on the ground rushing. The Green Bay Packers had 101 yards on the ground rushing. The Packers had 5.4 yards per carry, and the Cleveland Browns had a staggering 8.8 yards per carry on the ground. Every time I was watching the TV and saw a running play, the Packers' run defense, they were on their heels.
Yeah.
They had them backpedaling. Couldn't do nothing. The interior linemen, defensive linemen, the defensive end, the linebackers, they had no answer for the run game. And why Stefanski didn't put the pedal to the metal and keep after that second interception, I'll be like, you know what? We look pretty good on the ground. Let's mash it. Let's mash the gas until they figure out how to beat it. Because that's how it is in football. Impose your will on somebody until they can challenge them to stop you. And Green Bay could not stop the run all night. And I'm telling you what, if Green Bay wants to advance in the playoffs, they got to fix that run defense. Because there's no way in the world that you can let the Cleveland Browns run up and down you the way they did and still win the game. But then you got Baker Claus over there giving out gifts. So good win for Packers. Just a horrible loss for the Browns. And now the Browns sit in last place in their own division. Scottie D, what you got?
Let me throw some out real quick. This is the reason why I have this is the closest thing to red.
I'm about to say, is that a challenge flag?
Take us back to 2019 because that last interception he threw man, if that wasn't pass interference at its
It
finest,
was.
he tugged the mess out of him. He tugged the guy so hard that he was able to propel himself into the pass.
Right.
That was how bad it was. I'd have thrown the challenge flag. I know it was under 2 minutes. I'd have thrown it out of principle. I'd have taken the fine, the penalty, all of it, because I'd have got my point across. You'd have kicked me out of that game.
I'd have thrown my clipboard in my shoes.
Oh my God, that was cool.
because how often do we complain that the referees are got to be involved? They just throw flag after flag after flag, and here's an obvious one, and you don't throw the flag.
Yeah.
I'd have thrown my clipboard. I'd have thrown the clipboard, my play sheet, my shirt. I'd been standing there in my boxer shorts like Ric Flair.
They'd have kicked me out the game. I promise you, they'd have kicked me out the game. I'd have been like, y'all gonna be talking about this play for the next in the not the team meetings, but the end of the year meetings. Y'all gonna be talking about this at the end of the year, because I would have acted a plum putty fool.
Yeah.
A plum putty. I want to go real country with this. Plum putty fool. If I'd have been, oh my God, if I'd have been Stefanski, hey.
B-Live, you're on a roll. What's your answer to this question, since you're on a roll here?
This one right here, oh my goodness. My signature loss is the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Houston Texans. You have a chance right here to solidify your position in the playoff hunt against a lowly Houston Texans team that really hadn't got much going on for themselves, fighting for the number 1 pick for next year's draft, which they clearly do not want. But hey, they got pride. They got pride. I'm over here just like, but come on. This right here took what could have been, easily solidified their position, would have put them at 9-6, but now they're sitting at 8-7, and now they're in the thick of just mess, and they need some things to happen.
They needed that game.
This is the game they needed to win, because this is the easy one.
Right.
This is the easy game for them. But now they're sitting, right now, the Chargers are sitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're sitting in 9th place on the outside looking in at 8-7, as opposed to 9-6. You know you're not winning your division, but you would have had a better position when it comes to making the playoffs. Now you got the Broncos. Now you got the Raiders. The Raiders have a lot to fight for right now. So in the Broncos defense ain't nothing to laugh at. So it's not going to be easy for you at all. And so we shall see. This game you should have won. Now you're going to be fighting for your playoff life. And shoot, Broncos still fighting in there. They're 7-8. They win against y'all, and they're up there. So this is the game you were supposed to win, and you did not. Justin Herbert, you're the starter in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Over Patrick Mahomes. He's the starter.
Yeah.
This was the game that he needed to win. Oh my goodness. This one's gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt big. This one's going to hurt big. This is gonna be very hard to come. Hey, suit up. Let's get it. Hey, but you now need help. You could have wrote your own ticket, but now you need help. You need other teams to lose. So, whew.
Well, having said that, the way you described that actually kind of brings me to my team that I'm going to pick for their signature loss week, and that is the Cardinals, because they just dropped 3 in a row with a game coming up in Dallas. Now, I know the Colts are, very formidable team now, but you're going to have to beat good teams this time of year, and the Cardinals had a golden opportunity to get back on track after losing 2 in a row, and now they are also not in control of their destiny because they have a 5th loss, whereas the Rams only have 4. So they need help. They need the Rams to lose ahead of them really twice, because they actually had beaten the Rams on their field earlier in the year. So they had that advantage. They were at one point, like 8-1 or something like that, 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game against the Rams coming up at their own place. They lost that one. And, they are definitely trending in the wrong direction now, having lost, like I said, 3 in a row and playing at Dallas this coming week. Man, you wanted to have that number 1 seed overall. Now they're fighting in the wild card scenario. So that one I think was very, very painful for the Cardinals to drop that home game. And Kyler Murray, he looks like he's running for his life back there. He just doesn't have that confident look that he had earlier in the season.
That is a very good answer, Scottie D, and I'm gonna throw exactly why. The difference between Arizona winning and losing that game is if Arizona wins that game, season ended today, Arizona will be playing a home game, and the 49ers would be traveling to them. With them losing, they have lost control of the division. The Rams are now ahead in the division, and so Arizona would have to go on the road all the way to the East Coast to face Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. That is a huge difference.
It's a big ask.
2,000 mile difference. Home versus away difference. Huge. Then who you're playing? The 49ers with Jimmy G, or the reigning, defending Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, huge implication, man. We could talk forever. Eddie Cool, Amtrak me, man. This is
it's getting there. It's getting there. So the WTF game of the week, I'm going to say it was Scottie D's. Well, actually, no. I'm going to say my WTF game was the Colts and the Cardinals. The Cardinals, you have a chance to seize, number 1 seeding, the importance, get a home field game, something. And then you go, and then you lose at home to the Colts. Now, the Colts are on fire. The Colts are trending. Another team in the AFC is trending are the Miami Dolphins. Yes, winners of 7 straight. They now bring their record to 8-7, Miami Dolphins, but for the Cardinals, that was a must-win game. It takes a little pressure off. If they would have won, it would have made Green Bay uncomfortable. It would have made the Rams uncomfortable, and it would have had, the implication would have been a little bit more. So, my WTF game was the Colts and the Cardinals because the Cardinals did not do themselves any favors. Scottie D, what you got?
I don't want to step on B Live's toes here. I want him to go first on this because I was actually kind of thinking along the lines of the game he already mentioned, which was the Chargers losing to Houston. You're like, that's a WTF moment. What were you going to say on this one, B Live?
My WTF game we mentioned before was the Patriots versus the Bills.
Really?
Which version of the Patriots and which version of the Bills are we going to get? It's one of those things. Josh Allen played in that game like there was no tomorrow. Like, that's the Josh Allen we've been waiting to see all year long. And then the Patriots is Mac Jones was a rookie that game.
He looked,
he looked, and that put a lot of doubt in people's minds when it comes to because we were putting the Patriots in the Super Bowl,
crowning them
a couple weeks ago.
Crowning.
And now we're over here like, because now they've lost control of the division. If the season ended today, the Bills would win the division, and the Patriots would be number 6, which would mean they would travel to Cincinnati if the season ended today, or they would have a home game, and the Colts would travel to New England, which, right now, and again, the AFC, nobody's really rising to the top outside of Kansas City. Kansas City is dangerous, period, right now. But it's one of those things, every little bit of difference, you need to win those games that because if I think the Patriots win this game, I think they clinched. No, they don't clinch the division. They're a game ahead.
Yeah.
But Buffalo, they would need to lose twice for Buffalo to win the division. But now Buffalo has the tiebreaker, and now they don't write their own destiny.
Right.
So that was my WT.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, and maybe they needed to run the ball a little bit more because putting the ball in Mac Jones' hands is a little too much.
Little too much.
Yeah.
Scotty, what was your WTF game?
Well, let me throw something out. I was thinking a couple different directions. One was the Steelers just absolutely laying an egg against the Chiefs, because even if the Steelers now would luck into the playoffs, we know that they can't compete with other good teams. They just didn't look like they belonged on the same field. But there was another game that really has no meaning whatsoever to the race. But how in the world are the Seahawks going to let Nick Foles in Chicago come and beat them in their place? It looks like changes are going to need to be made in Seattle.
Big time.
Probably with Pete Carroll, probably with Russell Wilson. That team looks like they're ready for a starter. To lose to the Bears on their third quarterback. I mean, I know the guy won the MVP of the Super Bowl a few years ago, but we don't think Nick Foles is that good, obviously, because it took him 16 weeks to get a start.
Yeah.
And then he comes in there and they were able to beat the Seahawks. So that was, like I said, kind of a minor, meaningless game, but in Seattle, you got to think that things are a little not looking so good.
You lost to the Bears. You lost to the lowly Bears. All right, moving right along to the final portion of the segment. We got the most important game of the week. Browns and the Steelers, because this might possibly be the last time we see Big Ben. And the Browns, this might be the last time we possibly see Baker Mayfield. So it'll be, will Big Ben light that ass up one more time, or will Baker pull out and try to save his job? So it'll be interesting to see. Scottie D, important game of the week. What you got?
Interesting that you put it that way, because now that I'm thinking about Big Ben being his last home game against Cleveland, he might light him up. But I actually think the Browns, because there's not a whole lot of quarterback options, I think they're going to pick up that option on Baker. I don't think they're going to give him a new deal, but I think he'll be a Brown again next year. Mm-hmm. For me, I got to say the Cowboys and the Cardinals, because this is, the Cowboys need to stay in line. They don't want to slip down to a number 4 seed or 3 seed or 4. They don't want to get sloppy or coming off of this emotional win of, we're back. They don't want to get sloppy and lose to an Arizona team who really, really needs a win, because the Cowboys don't want to slip to 4, because if they win that first playoff game, then they'd have to go to Green Bay in the second round of the playoffs. And they don't want to do that. So you want to get as high. You want to avoid going to Lambeau as long as possible and hope somebody else takes care of that for you and not upsets them. But so the Cowboys need to maintain their seed. So that game, and keeping an eye on the Rams as well. We need the Rams to keep winning, to keep there's a lot of tie-break situation there. Yeah. I'm not going to get into all that. Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead, B-Live.
Who you got, B-Live?
My game, clear as day. Kansas City versus Cincinnati. There's huge implications.
Yep.
Cincinnati's still in the thick of things of clinching that division, and this is the game right here. Can they make a push
in Kansas City? Right?
And no, it's in Cincinnati.
Ooh, the jungle. They got to go to the jungle.
Okay. I thought this was.
It's in Cincinnati.
Oh, so okay.
They need this game right here.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. They do need this game. They need to win it. And this is also would be that big statement. Can they make that push into the playoffs? So this is their big test. Can they do it? Let's get it. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Let's start the playoffs tonight.
Let's start them tonight. All right, that's it for our NFL section of the show. Coming up next, our favorite sports stories of 2021. Sports Bros Podcast. Coming back at you, the Wednesday edition. Yes, this is the last Sports Bros Podcast show of 2021. No, not ever, just the last of 2021 as we go into 2022. But during 2021, they provided a lot of great moments in the world of sports. A lot of great sports stories. So we're here at the Sports Bros Podcast. We want to look back at the year that was in 2021 by sharing our favorite sports stories of that year. All right. And so with that being said, Scottie D, favorite sports story of 2021.
Well, I'm just going to dive right into the big picture of the world of golf, because some significant thing happened in golf, and the United States winning the Ryder Cup 19-9, one of the biggest, if not, I think may have been the biggest deficit ever for the United States to win, biggest margin of victory. Xander Schauffele won Olympic gold during the Olympics, another American victory. Very big story. Phil Mickelson, at age 50, he held off Louis Oosthuizen and Brooks Koepka to win the PGA Championship down at Kiowa Island, South Kakalaki. That was a moment we all three, we loved that, watching Phil win that. But going back to February, the story with that shook us was Tiger Woods getting in that accident. I think it was the week after the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. And he was on his way to do some kind of shoot, and I think for the Golf Channel or some kind of special shoot. And we know the story. He was speeding, went down the hill, and basically destroyed his leg. Didn't even know if they were going to salvage the leg. I remember when I first heard it, he got in this really bad accident. Like, is he alive? That's the first thing we're thinking. But it really, I felt like when this happened, it kind of slammed the door shut on Tiger's competitive career, because, we thought this a long time ago. How many times have we seen Tiger Woods make a comeback? Time and again, he's come back from the back surgeries, the back injuries, the bad situation he's had. He had like he got pulled on, they found him on the side of the road on prescription medication, a few years ago. There's been a lot of things that have happened in Tiger Woods' career. And then a couple of years ago, he comes back and he wins the Masters. He won a major, and we thought, man, that might never happen again. Is Tiger really back? And he showed some signs, he showed some flashes of being able to do it, but having a hard time to be able to sustain over a 4-day weekend of playing competitive golf and winning at the highest level. And when this happened, it pretty much, I think, slammed the door shut. And he has all but said that in an interview at the beginning of December. He was saying, I'm going to be playing like hit and giggle kind of golf. And then he went out and played around with his son in his father-son tournament just last weekend, which was wonderful, because no matter how Tiger is involved with golf, it's good for the game of golf to have him back around. But the fact that the damage done to his leg, combined with the series of back injuries and surgeries through the years, I just don't think Tiger Woods will ever play winning golf. Maybe he enters a small tournament or something. I don't know. I don't know that, but it just felt like when that story happened, it was very huge to the greatest career that we've seen modern day since, the Jack Nicklaus days. So that was I thought that was a story that, just when we thought maybe that wasn't over for Tiger, I think that kind of put the stamp on it. But interesting year of golf. You had the Koepka and DeChambeau thing going on, and no British Open because of the COVID, but fans back on the courses this year. So it was a good year of golf for some of the other previous things I stated. That was one of my most important stories of the year. How about you, B Live?
Man, I loved golf this year, by the way. Loved it. Very, like, it's one of those things with the absence of Tiger Woods, picking up the slack was Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau. They're off again, on again, more on again feud, off again during the Ryder Cup. But they had the match against each other. Phil Mickelson winning was it the U.S. Open at the age of
PGA Championship.
PGA Championship. Sorry about that. But that was just golf. Love it. Look at it. I'm excited for 2022. My story had a different trajectory altogether. In late May, one of our up and rising stars was arrested for domestic violence and never returned. One of our top pitchers tore his Achilles tendon in late June, never returned. And our superstar that was in the MVP talks tore his ACL in July 10th. Everything was headed in the wrong direction for my beloved Atlanta Braves. And I speak of Marcell Ozuna, Mike Soroka, and Ronald Acuna Jr. We were in the wrong direction. At the end of July, we were 5 games out of the division, and we were 2 games under 500. Like it was just not looking good. And then our general manager, and I'm gonna try to pronounce his name, Alex Anthopoulos. I hope so.
Enough.
It works for me. All he did was pick up the likes of Adam Duvall. I know that I pronounced wrong, but I just like the way they pronounced it in Jacksonville. But picked up Jock Peterson, or as he's now known as Jocktober with the Pearls, Eddie Rosario, and Jorge Soler. He picked them all.
Eddie, solar power. My bad, I just had to do that. Go ahead.
And Austin Riley comes back in pure form, and all the Braves do is come back from behind, take over the division, underdogs through and through the entire postseason, and all they do is win the World Series, their first World Series championship in 26 years. My goodness, fear the chop. I got my mask. Man, oh man, I love it. I love it. And I'm excited for 2022. And all I got to say to Anthopoulos, sign Freddie Freeman. Pay the man. He deserves it. Freddie
Who'd they beat in the
Freeman.
World Series?
The trash can banging bandits themselves.
The trash can bandits.
Houston, we have a problem. And
Yeah.
it is the Atlanta Braves. Fear to chop on 48. Yes, sir.
Was that 4-1? Is that how that ended up in the
It
World
was
Series?
4-2.
42.
42,
It was
okay.
game 6.
And speaking of baseball, this past season, we had not one 100-game winner, but two 100-game winners in the same division over in the National League West. And that was quite impressive. And I was like, who is going to cancel out who? Because it had to happen.
And Scottie D is still not a fan of that, but I don't care because my Braves won it all.
Yep. All right, moving. I guess it's my turn, and one of my favorite sports stories of 2021 is Giannis Antetokounmpo leads the Milwaukee Bucks to the NBA Finals and win their first title in 50 years since 1971. Yep, since 1971, and Giannis is a player that was on his way up. He was an MVP the previous season, and now at the point he's a 2-time MVP. Defensive Player of the Year. The only thing that was missing was a chip. Yep. Even though Kevin Durant's foot was an inch and a half away. Was not too far away from it being a whole different story. And shout out to Kevin Durant for his epic performance in the playoffs as well too. That cannot go unnoticed. And I will say this: I thought the bubble playoffs were fun to watch, but this year's playoffs was very fun to watch because we had two teams we did not expect in the finals in Milwaukee and Phoenix. Yep. Phoenix went on an amazing run. They went on a tear. They really pushed a lot of teams to the limit, and they finally got a chance to go to the finals for the first time in damn near about 28 years, if my math serves me correct. And the Bucks wanted more, man. And Giannis, he sealed the deal with a 50-burger in the deciding game of the NBA Finals, and the Phoenix Suns did not go away without a fight. So, that's one of my favorite sports stories of the year. Giannis leading the Bucks to the finals and winning it for the first time in 50 years. And then they had some members from the 1971 championship team there as well too, and that was great to see that. And it was great for them to see that. All in all, it was a great day for the sport of basketball.
Likeable kid, Giannis is. I think we were all kind of happy for him whenever he won that thing. Very, very much so.
Absolutely.
And I need that little girl at Chick-fil-A to understand who she was talking to.
Yeah.
This guy wants 50 nuggets. I do not understand. Somebody be like, girl, that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Do you know who that is? He just bought a chip to the city. You give him 50 nuggets if you want 50 nuggets, and don't charge him.
Right.
And don't charge it. All right. So that was it for our favorite sports stories of 2021. And as I mentioned earlier, today is Wednesday. And for the first time in a long time, we have What Happened, Wednesday, featuring the almighty B-Live. B-Live, what's on your mind on this edition of What Happened Wednesday?
Man. I wish I had my camel right now because it is hump day. Yeah. just to let everybody know we were recording on Tuesday, but it's coming out on Wednesday. But I had to do that anyway because it's been a long time. I should have left you without a dope beat. Step 2. It is a special edition, year-end edition of What Happened Wednesday. And I'm gonna tell you something real quick. This right here blows my mind. I'm sick of it. Scottie D, I get it now. I get why college football pisses you off.
The disdain.
But
we're gonna mix some Scott's thoughts in on what
I do.
happened Wednesday.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Because bring it. Because I'm just as upset with you right now because let's talk about this real quick. It's all over the place. It's all over the place right now. But let's put it on gallery view so we can see, so everybody can see everything. Give me 1 second.
All right, here we go.
So here's the thing. It happens, and a lot of bowl games come in. Some of the bowl games, they're meaningless. Like they don't even make any sense. There's a bowl game that's named after Jimmy Kimmel. Like I kid you not. Like
really?
The Jimmy. I think it's called the LA. Jimmy Kimmel presents the LA Bowl.
What? I kid you not. So we know some of these bowl games are ridiculous. No, I'm not playing in the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. I got NFL aspirations. But this one takes the cake. The players do opt out. They're like, you know what? For my health, et cetera, et cetera. What am I risking injury for? The game doesn't really mean that much. But this one takes the cake. This bowl game has history, significance. This dates all the way back to 1890 and is considered the granddaddy of them all. And that is the Rose Bowl, the Tournament of Roses. This is the game. This is, if you like, I've grown up ACC. I'm grown up in the South, so it's not that much of a deal to me. But when it comes to the Midwest, the Big Ten, and the West Coast, the Pac-12, those conference champions meeting against each other in the Rose Bowl, it's any college player's dream to make it to this game until now. Because of the college football playoff, there's a little less significance. And so now the Rose Bowl is no longer features the champion of the Big Ten and the champion of the Pac-12. It features, it's supposed to feature them, but if one of the champions makes it to the playoff, it goes to the next best, and who they figure is next best. Whoever will generate the most money.
True.
And so this year, it's the Utah Utes. Utah Utes did win the Pac-12. They didn't make the playoff. And against the Ohio State University Buckeyes, which they weren't the runner-ups, but of course names, etc. They were slated to make more money. Not only did they not sell out their tickets, by the way, they had to return like over 8,000 tickets that were allotted to their university.
Ooh.
But now they're not even putting their best product on the field because 4 of their top players, have said, the Rose Bowl isn't that important to me. What? And so just 2 prominent names that decided they're like, NFL's for me. I'm done with college football. Goodbye to the likes of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, 2 of the top wide receivers in all of college football. Both of them will be first rounders. Easily could be top 10, top 15 pickups. Like they're gonna be just fine. Mm-hmm. But the fact that this is the Rose Bowl, I could understand it. That if you got it invited to the Cheez-It Bowl, yes, I'm hurt. But the Cheez-It Bowl is on this Wednesday as this rolls out at 5:45 against Iowa State. Yeah, boys, I bleed orange all that. Boy, you see, that's why I'm wearing the jersey, because I'm ready to hit the field right now. Let's go.
White cheddar Cheez-Its are the bomb. But go ahead, be live.
They're delicious, but I can understand that they really are better.
Yes, Lord.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. They are much better. But
Woo!
I'm all orange. You know how I do things. But yeah. But you know who's not opting out of the bowl game of the Cheez It Bowl? Not one Clemson player. The ones that hit the transfer portal, they didn't want to be on the team anyway. But the players that are there, including a first round draft pick, Andrew Booth Jr., he said, I'm suiting up. I'm playing. And this is the Cheez It Bowl. But these guys won't play for the Rose Bowl. Culture, baby. Clemson gonna be fine. We lost our defense coordinator, lost our offense coordinator, lost our athletic director. We're gonna be fine because of the culture, because of this right here. But yeah,
all roads lead to Dabo.
All roads lead to Dabo. But
I was wondering. I'm over here like any man.
I do appreciate bringing that hashtag out because you know that I get passionate at times. I may lose my mind every now and again. But Scottie D, this is your opportunity. I'm gonna pass the mic to you. This is your time to express your disdain for this particular story and any particular story that comes to college football in the bowl season. The floor is yours.
I'm frustrated. First of all, and you brought up the transfer portal, which is basically turning into college free agency. This thing is making things a mess. But for years and years and years, my whole life, I've always said, I think college football is dumb the way they end the season because they were voting on two teams to play for a championship and everybody else played in a bowl game that meant nothing. And I said, well, who cares if you win any of these bowl games? Who cares? They don't mean anything. And now my who cares is going down to the student athletes. They don't care. And why should they care what the coaches don't care? The coaches aren't even sticking around for their own bowl games. They're going to other college teams. It's not even like they're taking NFL jobs. They're going to other college teams and not coaching the team that they brought. So they're not fulfilling their commitment to the guys they recruit by getting them to this bowl game. And then the players are like, well, I don't want to be like Jalen Smith, who ripped his knee up, playing for Notre Dame in his last game and slipped from the first round down a couple of rounds. The Cowboys ended up drafting him in the second round anyway, and he sat for a year or two. I get it. I get that. But it doesn't make it – I get why they don't want to play. I get why they're afraid to play. But that doesn't make it good for me as a fan. I'm going to watch Pitt, coming off the most successful season they've had in years, go to the Peach Bowl without their Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, and they're playing Michigan State, whose star player running back is also not playing. We're not really watching the teams that we've been watching all year. This is – and I feel like it's trending to the point that eventually what we're going to see is a trend of these kids that are going to come out as freshmen and establish themselves as star players and sitting out their whole sophomore year to go to the draft, let alone sit a bowl game. They're going to start sitting entire seasons because they don't want to get hurt. And football's a violent sport. It's a sport you get hurt in. So the kids that are going to play it out, your Cheez-It kids, I admire that for them sticking through it and not jumping on the trend of jumping out. Because when I heard Kenny Pickett say he was going to talk it over with his family, whether he's going to play in that bowl game, I said, that dude ain't playing.
He ain't playing.
Write it down. He is not going to play. His mind is made up. He's dragging it out and giving us some kind of hope and letting us down easy. But I knew that kid wasn't going to be playing in that bowl game. So that's just an aggravating part of college football that I don't know that you can really do anything about. I mean, you're not going to eliminate the bowls because, well, unless COVID does it, which is another disturbing trend that, teams are just canceling their bowl games altogether. That's not something that can be controlled. That's just, that's part of this pandemic life that we're in right now, which unfortunately we're not through yet. But it's hard as a fan to get to this point where you root for your team all year long, and then you get to the end of the season and you don't even get to watch your team fulfill their bowl, because really right now, outside of the playoff, these other games really don't matter. Just like I've always said, because if Kenny Pickett was playing for a playoff game, he probably would play. You'd think you're still going to try to play your way to a championship. But if we expand the playoffs, like we've arguing back and forth, are there still going to be kids that are going to say, that's not worth my risk either? I'm not going to play in the playoff game because the scouts are looking at me. I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow with college football, and I don't know that's something that can really be fixed. As far as the coaches, I think you maybe should set a league year, like in other major sports, and say, look, you cannot go from Oklahoma to USC until the bowl games are played, and then a week after is whenever the next league year starts. I think something like it for coaches could be done, but I don't know if we can do anything with the players.
I was literally about to say that, and me and you for once in this college atmosphere, are on the same page at the end of 2021. I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, and I'm gonna say this: you should not be able to recruit for your future school until you have fulfilled your obligation at the school that you're at. Yeah. I honestly believe this is the way it should be. You set the precedent. This is college. Now, pro, you can do whatever the heck you want to. You can fire without cause, with cause, or whatever. Terminate contract, whatever. This
kick a Lambo.
Yeah. No. Boy, who? See? Hey. Oh boy. I'm good. Kick
a Lambo.
But
you ain't kicking $100,000 cars. No.
But yeah, Scott, you made a very, very, very valid point about that. You can't trade players after such time in pros. There's a portion of time where you can't communicate with players during free agency. Mm-hmm. So why are you allowed to leave the school that you're at and start recruiting for a new school before the year's even out?
Yeah,
I don't
like that.
I think the signing period should change. I think this whole early signing period should change. You should not be able to recruit again for another school. You can recruit for your own school within that year, the visits and everything with that whatever. But no, you're absolutely right. There's absolutely no incentive. Lincoln Riley is already recruiting for Southern Cal right now. Like Brian, I don't understand it.
And the kids he recruited are preparing for a game.
Yeah. Right. And they're like, watch it. Okay, well, just go ahead and do your own thing. I don't really feel like playing anymore either. Because the sense of pride is no longer there. And the thing about it is, I understood the Gasparilla Bowl and nobody really wanting to go there. I can understand, and I can understand the Sports Bros podcast Myrtle Beach Bowl not really wanting to go there. Myrtle Beach is really nice, but the Sports Bros podcast Myrtle Beach Bowl is a premier bowl in the bowl system.
You know, right. You darn right.
You damn right is. Who don't want a free vacation to Myrtle Beach? Who don't? Yeah, who doesn't want a free vacation to Myrtle Beach?
And that's what happened.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it's with college football. It's at the point as to where it's like, okay, the coaches, okay, well, I'm done. Bye. And like you said, there has to be like some rules in the NFL as to where you can't begin your free agents discussion until this time. You can't begin contract negotiations until this time. I think that has to be implemented into college football as well too, because it's at the point, Scottie D, it's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, the transfer portal to Wild West. I mean, the whole thing's kind of a mess. But.
Yeah, it's like it's like the doggone Wild Wild West, and I'm kind of like, okay, just as you guys stated, where's the pride? We've been having training camp ever since. I mean, some schools they have training camps in February, March. You got your spring workouts, and then after that you have your black and garnet game, or what is the what's the Pitt college game? Was it blue and gold or blue and yellow or something like that?
I'm sure it's something to that effect. Yeah.
Yeah, and just Clemson, they have their orange and purple game, and you work that hard to get to either playing for a national championship or get invited to the bowl game, and all of a sudden I don't want to play. I understand some of the the top tier potential draft picks say, hey, like you said about Jalen Smith, he tore his damn knee up and hadn't been the same since. But the fact of the matter is, look, if I work this hard, I'm a transfer, but I'm gonna play in this bowl game first. Or we work this hard, I'm gonna finish coaching y'all the rest of the way out. I'm gonna fulfill. I'm a kind of person. I always believe about fulfilling your obligation. Fulfilling your obligation. When you got this recruit, she's like, you know what? I got you here because I'm going to invest 4 years with you, 5 years with you, and we're going to do this, this, and this.
But Eddie, the whenever you say that stuff to a student athlete who has a chance to go into the NFL, they also say, my obligation first is my family. And if I can hit a big contract and take care of them, I'm not going to risk it. So I mean, there's two sides to it. It's just an unsolvable problem when it comes to the athlete side of it. So the coach is a different story, but it is what it is with college football.
Yeah, I with the coaches, the kids. I mean, with the kids, I get it because, like you said, you do know you have the chance to make X amount millions of dollars. Not this NIL message you was getting, and even before NIL, you go from eating ramen noodles and barely getting into Joe's Crab Shack and barely eating cheesecake and can't nobody give you nothing because it's a part of the NCAA violations to if I'm that good, I can get a contract. How much is the contract? Because think about it. A lot of kids are seeing Patrick Mahomes making how much, be live?
$500 million. $503 million. I forget it was $147 billion guaranteed. Just ridiculous amount of money. And I caught the back end of it, had some technical difficulties, but let's put it this way. Transfer portal during the season shouldn't happen. Oh. Coaches leaving during the middle of the season shouldn't happen.
No.
Not until the end of the bowl season. Recruiting outside of your own school and not until the end of the bowl season. Signing day for schools should be after the bowl season. That's got to change. I think the only reason why you have the early signing period is because you have early enrollees that enroll the spring semester, which at the end of the day, at the end of the day, fulfill your obligations, fulfill them, finish the season out. Even like if one concession, if you have to make this concession that you can't fire a coach until the end of the season, then that's one concession I'm willing to make if you are able to keep the coaches there for the entirety of the season. So you're not jeopardizing the validity of the season of the game, make bowl games matter, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. The Rose Bowl is still something. There's a lot of kids out there that have a lot to fight for. The only upside is that there's going to be a few kids that wouldn't have played in the game that now getting to play in the game. That's really the only good little bright side of this situation, is that some kids that this is the beginning of their next season, but it shouldn't be that way. Nope. It shouldn't be that way.
Yep. So let's see. We had what bowl games did we have? We had the Ore-Ida Potato Bowl. And then we got the Duke Mayonnaise Bowl coming up. Yeah, just think about it.
I don't watch those. I don't watch them.
I mean, what was another one? The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Cut it out. Anybody got time to be mentioning that long ass name for no bowl game? And it probably ain't gonna be good. Probably not gonna be good. But fellas, I know what else is good. I know what's gonna be good.
Ooh, what?
Mm-hmm. For the last time in 2021, it is time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And for the final time in 2021,
hey yo button,
hit it. Choices of the voices coming right at ya.
And now our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so loving Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices, for the final time in 2021. You know how we do it. Scottie D asked the question. Y'all answer the question. We talk about it. We pick at you. But it's all in good, clean fun. The choices of the voices. And with that being said, Scottie D, what's the topic for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, before I read the topic, cameraman, zoom in on me. Zoom in on my face. Well, actually, here, I guess I got to do this.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me put you on speaker. Go ahead.
So, some of you out there, you need to make a New Year's resolution that when you participate in the choices of the voices, you read the question and then answer it instead of just making your own stuff up as you go along. Okay. So here we go with this week's, our final question of the year. and we'll elaborate some of that a little bit more in a little bit. If you could pick any player from your favorite team in the past to be on the current edition of your team to help you get into a playoff push, into a championship run, who would you pick? That's right. Somebody from your favorite team from the past to now help you this year in our playoff push. Okay.
Scottie,
cool?
Scottie, repeat that one more time.
If you could pick a player from your favorite team from years past,
one
player, and bring him onto the team this year to help you with this year's current playoff run, or right, just to get into the playoffs, championship run, who would you pick? Eddie Cole, we had some very interesting answers. Actually, we had a lot of really good answers here. I'm overall impressed with most of the answers.
Yeah.
So what do we get there, Eddie Cole?
Let's get into it, shall we? We got the Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max. Happy birthday, buddy. He says,
hey, Uncle Max, happy birthday.
Yep. He says,
we got to gloss right over that like that? Be live? Uncle Max?
No. This, we were going to behave.
Yeah, we gonna read the only thing I did was say his name, Scott. Like,
happy birthday, young man.
Happy birthday to you, Uncle Max, the Hall of Famer.
The first inductee in the Sports Bros Podcast Hall of Fame, all right? Wonderful person, great spirit, great soul. All right, Uncle Max says the Packers really need help on kickoff and punt return, so I would have to go with Desmond Howard.
That's a great answer. I like it. Very good answer.
Because Lord knows they need on special teams. The man himself.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yes. David Romito said Warren Sapp or Derek Brooks would be a nice addition.
Yeah, he actually did like he was a Buccaneer fan. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have one of those two back for the Bucs.
That'd be nasty. They already have a really stout defensive line. That would be
back to the Super Bowl. That's what that says.
Jesus, that'd be almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
Good
Literally.
Lord, that good answer.
Good answer. Terrible, Pete Talansky. Pete, I'm so sorry about your Giants, buddy. Terrible, Pete Talansky says, this is a no-brainer for me. Add Lawrence Taylor to any team, and you become instantly better.
Yeah, one of the greatest players in NFL history, let alone in the Giants history.
And just for the record, speaking of LT, if you have not seen All Madden by the presentation they made for John Madden in his career, that is a must.
That was good.
Oh my God, that was Scottie D. Thank you for because you reminded me when it was on, and I was almost in tears.
Yeah,
how great that production was.
It was done very well. Yeah,
I would
like this scene to be like a 3-hour special. I mean, I think they could have gone into a lot more depth.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, to have that much impact on a sport.
Yeah,
and hopefully for the younger generation that they would understand that John Madden is much more than a video game.
Much more.
Yeah. It's much more. It's still the winningest coach of all time as far as percentage over 100 games. John Madden, and it took him so long just to get into the Hall of Fame. I can't believe it. And then the work he's done, I could go on for that. But yeah. Yes. LT, that's what I say. LT was did a very good what's the thing, dedication to him and everything. Like he said that John Madden made him a better player. Wow. And that is a testament from arguably one of the greatest athletes, one of the best players of all time in the National Football League, Lawrence Taylor. So terrible, Pete. You weren't so terrible.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I just had a funny thought. Busting through the wall, I would be more scared of John Madden than I would be the Kool-Aid Man. Boom! Tough action acting. You want some money? I mean, what you want, man? You just caught me off guard. But yeah. All right, so here we go. Matty Ice Martin Tracy said Irving Fryer. If you know, you know. He was pretty good. Tough as nails, great kick/punt returner, and great receiver. First pick in the 84 draft, helped the Patriots to reach their first Super Bowl and will be a great addition to this year's squad. I totally forgot Urban Fryer did play for the Patriots because I remember him as a Redskin. It was
I think he might have been on the first Super Bowl team for the Patriots when they got blown out by the Bears in that 85 team. I think he was on that team with Tony Eason as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. There's another good one on here. I don't know if you saw this one, Eddie. Cool, by Bruce Diamond. He chose Kent Hall, Ken Hall was a center. He just passed away a few years ago, but he was a center for the Buffalo Bills teams.
Oh yeah,
that went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. And I mean, we've talked before, like the Bills needing some gritty, grinded out offensive linemen to help with them running the ball. So that's a good answer for Bruce on his Buffalo Bills pick.
Yep. Shout out to the big boss man Bruce Diamond for that one. Rodney Bellamy, Dolphins fan. I know he's jumping for joy right about now. He should be.
Hot.
Yeah, him and our home.
Hot.
Yeah,
hot fish.
Hot fish minus degrees. All right, so here we go. He said it's easy to say 13, 99, or even 54. Marino, Taylor, and Zach Thomas, in case you know. Because it took me a while. I was like, what is he talking about? Okay, so here we go. He said, easy to say 13, 99, or even 54. He said, but with this year's particular team, offensive line is so bad, and we need a bruiser. Give me Run Ricky Run in his prime. A key. Merry Christmas to the fellas at the Sports Bros podcast. Hot Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Ricky Williams. It'd be a nice addition to Tua in the backfield.
Old smoke.
Yeah. Good old Ricky Williams, who's found his true calling in the marijuana. Devil's lettuce. All right. So we got JR. JR said on Philly with Reggie White, he'd be with the Eagles, would definitely have two rings, maybe even 3. So
all right, here we go. This is kind of one of the things I was talking about. Because JR, your pick is an excellent pick. Reggie White is a great pick to add to any team, and as an Eagle fan, but we asked, could you pick any player to be on this year's team? And so I guess he thought he could win 2 rings this year, maybe 3. He said, but here's the puzzling part, Jerry. You put up a picture of Lawrence Taylor. Why'd you put a picture of Lawrence Taylor and Bill Murray on our Facebook? It's not the same guy.
Did he get his people mixed up?
I don't know. That's definitely LT. If you look at the picture,
it was definitely LT.
LT and Bill Murray. It looks like the ESPYs or something. That's not Reggie White. So
this is one of the moment. This is the moment where all black folks don't look the same.
Oh, not my joke. Not my joke to make.
JR, number love, baby, number love.
We
Happy
love
New
you.
Year, JR. Happy New Year, JR.
But,
we do love you.
Hashtag do better. Only boss. God Almighty, you gotta do. You're gonna put a picture, please. Put the correct picture of who you're talking about.
All right. So here we go. Fresh out of Facebook pokey. No, I'm joking. We got Trey Dizzle, Trey Duke. He said, pretty damn easy for me. Tony Romo, with the talent Dallas has on both sides of the ball, would absolutely be unfair for the rest of the league.
Let me get this one. Let me get this right here.
Go right ahead.
Because of your lack of faith in Dak Prescott, that's why you lost this past week in fantasy football. Dak Prescott almost got you to the promised land, but because you didn't believe in him, it was put into the cosmos, and they were like, you know what? Trey Dizzle doesn't need Dak Prescott in the game anymore because he doesn't believe in him. So guess what? We're gonna go ahead and pull him out. He doesn't need any more yards, points, or anything like that. Because of Trey Dizzle and his negativity towards Dak Prescott, the $160 million quarterback with $127 million guaranteed. And thanks to Scottie D, $75 million this year. You got to believe in the man that you have right now. Come on, Dak Prescott is good. He may not be great. He may not be worth all that money, but he is your current quarterback. He is leaps and bounds better than Tony Romo. I would have been much more inclined with you if you would have said Troy Aikman. There.
Dak on his best day is not better than Tony Romo.
Oh my God, the sack. You know what? No. I'm not. No, so what's been the difference? What's been the difference? Tony Romo couldn't get past 8 wins. But what? How?
And then when he got to the playoffs, what happened? Face plant.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did have some bad moments, but he also had some bad offensive lines and like Julius Jones and Marion Barber running back. I mean, Jared didn't really commit to the offensive line like he has since these last couple of years. Actually, he was committing to it with Romo at the end of his career, and it carried over into Dak Prescott. That's when he started drafting Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick. But talent-wise, Tony Romo's head and shoulders above Dak Prescott.
So you think Tony? You agree with?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I tell you, y'all are worse than Panther fans. Y'all much worse than Panther fans. My God. Like the
Tony
fight
Romo
that we're going through right now is that like we're fighting who's better, Sam Darnold or Cam Newton, which are both terrible because of our O-line issue. But you should see the fights that are going on. But sure.
But Dak Prescott has a great chance of success here. He has the opportunity still in front of him because Jason Garrett's dumbass is gone, and that was a big hindrance to Tony Romo's career. That was a big hindrance to us in the past. So anyway,
Jason Garrett's so bad he couldn't even keep his OC job with the Giants. Ain't that something?
No. Terrible.
That's pretty bad. That's what he was known for. But yeah. All right. You think Tony Romo could ever be an OC in the future?
I think he could, but why would you? Why would you want to leave that job that he has with the money he's making?
He's having too much fun.
Spend all day studying film and coaching. I mean, if you get that broadcast job, that's where it's at.
Tony Romo with that broadcast job, like I said, out of all my favorite commentary duos, I really like being entertained. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. Tony Romo calling things before it happened, and you're like, and like he's like I said, he gives us the quarterback's perspective, like the on-field perspective. If Tony Romo don't do nothing else, he's smart enough to give us the on-field perspective to He's a true color commentary. He's a true color commentator. So I will give him that. So Tony Romo, Trey Dizzle, John Wyszczyk. Did I butcher his name?
John Wazik. Yeah.
John Wazik. He said,
old friend from college. We called him Waz, and Waz is a Steeler fan. So his answer is
Dermontti Dawson, Hall of Famer, right? Dermontti Dawson is in Hall of Fame?
Yes. I believe he is. Yeah, he was a center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
number 63 for the Steelers. Yep.
And they could use him right now. That Steelers team could sure use some help on that O-line.
Poor Najee. Poor
good
Najee
call.
Harris. Poor Najee Harris. Good
Yeah.
God. His first 3 games was like, wall. Hey man, move. Ain't you the tackle? Aren't you supposed to pull guard? Oh God, poor Najee. I mean, the Steelers did draft what they needed in a running back, but it's just been terrible. Just terrible. 7-1.
Ben Roethlisberger is 1 year too late from retirement, but that's what I
agreed.
I'm just like,
you see the video of Big Ben like throwing the ball and then falling to the ground untouched?
I have not seen it, but I can believe it. It's just awkward watching him. He just looks like a big ball of fat back there. I don't know if it's the pads or whatever. I think he literally looks like if I'm not mistaken, I read it so Jared Lorenzen back there behind center. I'm just saying, he looks slow and chunky. I'm just saying. He looking like Zion Williamson in the backfield.
My goodness.
We'll get back to a choice of the voice real quick. First of all, I'm going to get really close to the camera. To the agents of Zion Williamson, and we had this discussion that you know where we're going. Zion is 300 and plus pounds as we speak. Who in the hell decided it would be a great idea to air a Mountain Dew commercial with a bunch of food, and this man has a weight issue? Who?
He looked chunky in the commercial. I was like,
he was thick then. Like, what are we like? This, I'm like, this is so not a good look. And matter of fact, I forgot which podcast I was listening to. They was like, yeah, and then they had the nerve to put him in a Mountain Dew commercial.
He got bigger problems than Mountain Dew. They need to put a padlock in that brother's fridge.
And the thing about it is, he in New Orleans, and the food gonna be good then, now, and forever in New Orleans. You somehow, some way got next thing. Hey, he gonna be trying out for offensive tackle for the Saints next year. Hell, well, you might as well at this point.
Might as well.
But anyways,
I'm very nervous about him getting back on the basketball court. I'm very, very nervous. It cannot go well with the weight that he's gained.
Blowing out shoes, bad knees. That's a lot of up and down. It's just
the thing about it is Derrick Rose was healthy.
Yeah.
Like he was slim but there was his problem was he was so explosive that his joints couldn't handle it. And Zion Williamson has that same problem, and he's compounding it with the weight issue. He's gonna blow. I just blew my left ACL, MCL, and PCL just talking about it because I gotta wait by myself.
And his ATL. Nah, my bad.
I blew that out just talking about it.
Can we Amtrak this Choices of the Voices section here before B Live gets injured and has to get carried off the set here?
I just want some Popeye's chicken, but you can keep them dry ass biscuits. Moving right along, we got Tom Wynn. He says Jim Brown. Wow.
Hey, if you're a Browns fan, you got bigger problem than running back. Your running backs aren't that bad.
Right.
You might want to pick Bernie Kosar.
That was
Y.A. Tittle.
That was his favorite player. So he just wanted to go with his favorite player. But yeah,
okay.
you've got running backs. That's the very least of your problems in Cleveland. But hey, to each their own. I won't throw you in the penalty box, but you didn't read the question all the way. Should we throw him in there?
He interpreted the way he interpreted.
All right. Well, we'll leave it alone. You'll get a pass in 2021. You bring that mess in 2022. Read the question. Yes, sir.
We coming for you. I ain't gonna do it. So here we go. We got Trina Dunn. She says the Minister of Defense, Reggie White.
She's a Packer fan. Yeah. For two different teams.
Right.
Reggie White.
I mean, Reggie White could apply for 4 different teams and with this question. So
true. Yeah.
So very much so.
That damn Reggie White to get off the ball, push with one arm and clothesline you with the other one, and just Reggie. I remember watching Reggie White play, and I was like, what in the hell? What is this? Lord have mercy. And then when he came to Carolina, I was like, oh, we got Reggie White, but we got like trending down Reggie White. But R.I.P. to the legendary.
Hey.
Yeah. R.I.P. to the
Reggie White and Kevin Green. I was like, I like this.
I'm over here like, what are we gonna do? I
know they were older and later in their career, but it just felt good to see him in a Panthers uniform. So
yeah. R.I.P. to him and Kevin Green. I still can't believe Kevin Green's gone. Good God. Moving right along, we got Eric Black. He said Ronnie Lott.
Good choice for the 49er fan.
Ronnie Lott, the head.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Between him and Steve Atwater, God. And then we
feel like he understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Because Homer pick would have been Jerry Rice, but they're really good at wide receiver. They're really good. Deebo Samuel is going to. Yes, I'm wearing a Clemson jersey, saying something good about a Gamecock. They just don't freaking lose your freaking mind. But Deebo Samuel is that dude.
Yeah,
I promise you. If I can select them in fantasy football, I'm picking Deebo Samuel. That dude can do anything
when healthy.
Facts. And that's
when healthy. That boy scratch his nose. He out 3 to 6 weeks with a fractured orbital bone. Moving right along. Moving right along. We got Chris Adgerson, and he said it would be Larry Allen. Woo!
For a Cowboy fan, that's a good call.
Yeah,
take him on any time on the offensive line. Hall of Fame.
Who did Larry Allen run down that one time? Larry Allen ran down somebody.
Yeah, it might have been Emmett that fumbled or something, and a defensive back picked it up and scooted down the sideline, and he reeled him in. I can't remember. It was impressive, though. He'd seen this big man just sprint down the sideline. Yeah, I forget who it was, but he reeled him in. It was crazy.
And Larry Allen he was big, strong.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine him getting to the you don't have to imagine. You've seen it. But can you imagine being a defensive back, a quarterback, or a safety, seeing this dude on the second level? Hey, go ahead, bro. You got it. You ain't about to run me over and have me looking foolish. Nah, man. You know what? I fell.
I wish my defensive coordinator would ask me, what you do, son? Do you see number 73? I will cover 80, 88. What was Novacek? 84 and 22. But this right here, 73. I don't want no parts of it. Nope. You can call me coward, punk. What? I don't care. I run them sprints. Larry Allen didn't touch me. He ain't touched me. Yeah, he did not touch me. All right, and then we got Ernie Kitzman. Ernie Kitzman said Charles Woodson.
Ah, okay. That's another good one for a Packer fan.
Yep, Charles Woodson. I mean, yeah, Charles Woodson. Yeah, good old Charles Woodson. He got he's wearing what's the ascots and the and drinking wine.
Yeah.
His head's still big. His head's still big as hell, but it's okay.
That'd be an improvement to the Packers defense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, of course it would be.
Because we know they can't stop the run. And the thing about the Packers is on Christmas Day, they got exposed, whether they know it or not. They got exposed. It took the Browns to expose them.
Hope so.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Shout out to Uncle Max, Dave Ramito, Terrible Pete Talansky, Matty Ice Martin Tracy, Rodney Bellamy, Hot Rod himself, JR, Trey Dizzle, John Waz, Trina Dunn, Eric Black, Chris Adgerson, and Ernie Kitzman, the Kitz himself. All right.
Also saw one for the best name in the game, Joe Comfort, where he picked.
He bought one. What did he get? What did he get?
He went with Alan Faneca, another Steeler fan, another Steeler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe Comfort, the best name in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, the best name in the game. Yeah, Alan Faneca kind of looked like Triple H with more muscles.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah, he was a big dude. So shout out to everybody for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. We're gonna do something different. Be live. If you're gonna bring somebody back to help out the Panthers, at least get some respectability at this point. Who you picking?
This one took some thought.
Yeah.
This one took some thought, but not really, because there's one glaring issue that the Panthers have, and then there's a couple of minor issues that we got going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump off rip. We need help on our offensive line. So without a doubt, I would bring back Jordan Gross. I would bring him back. He's Ring of Honor for the Panthers, easily the best offensive lineman that the Panthers have had.
Yes.
That's clearly my number one pick. But honorable mention, and I'm gonna go into it a little bit further when we get to our pepper. But honorable mention, if I was to bring back somebody from a previous team in their prime, I'd bring back either Ron Rivera or John Fox.
Oh, you went coach.
I'd bring back a freaking coach. But and I'll get into that a little bit later.
Not George
Stay
Seifert.
tuned.
Not George Seifert for that 1 year.
Hey, in prime, that's a good answer. Somebody.
That rule says you're improving.
Yep.
And also, I know this might be against the rules of the question, but I would have thrown in 2015 Cam Newton.
You brought back Cam VP.
Yeah, I would have bring back Cam in his prime. I think Cam in his prime, with the weapons that we have, I think he could do some damage. Our O-line needs absolute help. But what Cam Newton did in 2015 with the lack of weapons that we had was something short of phenomenal. So he made Ted Ginn Jr. a leading wide receiver. No hands, Ted Ginn Jr. And if he had hands, he would have broken Jerry Rice's record. If he had hands.
Destroyed it.
He would have destroyed the records. He had 14 touchdowns with no hands. It was like he could have easily had 25 touchdowns that year. It was ridiculous to watch. But yeah, Jordan Gross, honorable mention, any one of our coaches that we had in the past. But like I said, stay tuned. Scottie D, Eddie, who wanted to go next? I got distracted.
And Don Capers too be like, no, let me stop. Well, he did. Oh. And we
went to the championship game.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Don Capers.
And Don Capers, they not one but two what's it called?
Expansion
teams. Yeah, because he ended up coaching
Houston.
the Texans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dom Capers, the blueprint. Scottie D, who you got?
I'm in the same thought process of Trey Duke by replacing Dak, but I'm not picking Romo. I'm picking Troy Aikman because that dude went out and delivered. He delivered the goods. He brought home the hardware. Troy Aikman playing in his prime again in this current iteration of the Cowboys, throwing to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Dalton Schultz playing the Novacek role. Whoo! I would like that, man. I would
Tony Pollard
that.
Tony Pollard coming out of the backfield as well.
Pollard and Zeke back there. Troy handing to those guys. And Gallup's your third receiver. Ooh, Troy would have a lot of fun with throwing to these weapons. You know, Troy had his first Super Bowl had Irvin and Alvin Harper and Novacek, and then Kelvin Martin was like the slot receiver he didn't throw a lot to. But 1, 2, 3 right now, I think is better than that 1, 2, 3. I mean, Michael Irvin obviously is the standard when it comes to Cowboys receivers, but Alvin Harper left the Cowboys for free agency and never did much after that. And Kelvin Martin, same thing. We ended up bringing a guy named Kevin Williams in as our number 2 guy. But
I remember him.
This would have been Troy would have a lot of fun with these guys. So that's my pick. Eddie Cool, how about you?
Man, wow. Looking at the Carolina Panthers now, as B-Live mentioned, our team got more holes than a block of Swiss cheese. I ain't gonna lie to you. We got holes except for the secondary. But man, as he's here or there, I would say bring back Steve Smith. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Toughness. Okay.
Bring some fire back to that team, huh?
Yeah. Fire. He would get Robbie Anderson all the way together. Think about it. Steve Smith is the same guy that beat up Ken Lucas, that fought a teammate in practice. Now they're back, well, Steve Smith is volatile. No, you need somebody like Steve Smith to have that fire and have that to just resonate throughout the squad. Because think like, who we got a wide receiver now? We got DJ Moore. Oh, him. Think about it. Him, DJ Moore.
I was gonna question you a little bit. I was like, wide receiver is actually one of our stronger points.
Now,
but I see what you're saying about, like, he would of course he would definitely elevate the game.
Yeah.
Because one thing I think that we're definitely lacking, which again surprises me from somebody that's 5'10", is he stretched the field.
Yeah.
Like being 5'10", you wouldn't think that Steve Smith
played bigger than that size.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He played like he was 6'5".
Yeah, now that's one of those things where I'm waiting. Is anybody going to be able to go down the field, stretch the offense, as opposed to the your safety playing 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage, so you can't run the ball, slant, interception. It's not. It just doesn't work. But again, I'm teetering the territory. I almost question you, but I see what you're saying. I like that answer, Steve Smith. Stretch the field, bring that passion, get in them boys' grills, like, hey. DJ Moore is the heir apparent. Yeah. DJ Moore, he's tough.
And even Steve Smith said it himself.
Yeah, that's what I said. Steve Smith has passed the torch to DJ Moore, but he just doesn't have that leadership ability just yet. He's young.
Or a quarterback.
Huh?
Or a quarterback.
See,
now if we talking quarterback,
I'm just saying a receiver's not gonna be that good without a good quarterback.
Now if we talking quarterback,
that's what I'm saying.
1A would be 1A and 1B. Cam Newton 1A and Jake Delhomme 1B.
Jake would get destroyed behind our offensive line right now.
He would get killed.
He'd get murdered behind this offensive line.
Especially if he had Mike Remmers there.
Jesus Christ. So that's why I was like, the reason why I went O-line first was because I just don't see anybody. I really don't see anybody thriving behind our offensive line. Even Patrick Mahomes suffered terribly when he was lacking with the offensive line problems.
Mike Remmers was there.
Exactly. Mike Remmers made the greatest quarterback that probably ever be on the field look like just garbage.
Made him look human. Oh my God.
And the thing about this, he was still doing superhuman things, of throwing horizontal, laid out like this because Mike Remmers couldn't block. Oh boy, sorry. We back.
Yeah. So all right. So Jordan Gross, not Mike Remmers. Good God, not him. That's 2 Super Bowls I've seen him just go stink it up. All right, Scottie D, what's on tap for next week? Well, next year.
For next year, first question out of the block. I actually asked this question last year. I'm going to revisit it, but I'm just going to ask all of you guys out there for something you would like to see happen in 2022 or predictions in the world of sports for 2022. Predictions or something, and you can get creative. You can give us something funny, something outlandish, outrageous, or something that you really say, hey, I really see this coming to fruition, or I would really like to see this. Like, I would really like to see college football change things up, like we talked earlier, something like that. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to kick off the new year with, our predictions and stuff we'd like to see for the next year. That'll give us something to talk about.
I'm going to go ahead and throw in my answer real quick because I want to get one last insult into Scottie D before the New Year's. Go
ahead.
I want to see another spring football league.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well, you got Dwayne Rock Johnson's XFL, and then you got the USFL. I think we still have the spring league, and so
one more thing for me not to watch. Oh, dreadful football.
Got him.
Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, come back next week.
You might get that wish.
Come back next week / next year for another edition of the Choices of the Voices. Thank you for your participation in all of 2021. Coming up next, Pepper. We got a special edition of Pepper, the Pepper Awards. Stay tuned. Before we hop into our Pepper Awards segment, right as we're finishing our last segment, the Choices of the Voices, we received the shocking news of the passing of John Madden. A few days ago on Christmas Day, Fox ran a Madden special, and it was phenomenal. I hadn't yet seen it yet, and neither and B Live and Scottie D, they saw it. But yeah, John Madden passed away this morning at the age of 85. And the funny thing about it is, we were just talking about him on the sport on this episode
just a few minutes ago, talking about that special.
Yeah, and a must see, and it was almost divine.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when that thing aired on Christmas Day, I'm sitting there watching with my dad, my brother-in-law, and the family is around the room. And I said, I'm glad that they aired this while he was still alive to see this, because I mean, he was 85, and I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that he was older, and I said, this is awesome that this isn't the type of thing they waited to do, like a posthumous special on him. Man, I hope he was well enough that he was sitting around on Christmas watching that and did get sick. Because as of right now, I'm not even sure what exactly was his reason for passing away. But I hope that he sat there on Christmas and enjoyed that like everyone else in America did, because that was really, really a cool special. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, I wish it would have been like a 3-hour special, so they could have gone even further into depth with some of the things. But it was really touching to see all the different guys come on and say, like Troy Aikman saying he was the soundtrack to my career, because Madden had a big, a large part of the Cowboys games that usually aired on the 4:00 slot on Sunday afternoons while Aikman was in his heyday for those 12 years. So Madden did a lot of his games. And as a Cowboy fan, obviously I witnessed a lot of that. But, and all these different guys said real nice things about him. Matt Millen was on there talking about him, and Belichick. But what his son said about him being a Hall of Fame father, I thought that was the coolest of all the tributes. And seeing Madden watch these people say the kind things about him, and I'm glad now that thing was done. And even if he wasn't alive to see the special, he was alive to see the tributes. As they were coming in, they were watching him watch these things said. So
Right.
he was, he saw all these good things that were said about him, and the magnitude of what he meant to the football fan in the early 90s and even a little bit further beyond. So that, man, rest in peace, John Madden. What a contributor to the sport of football.
Oh yeah, and what I wanted to say was that because the way the special looked like, it looked like he was watching the special as it was like he was watching the production of the special.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it really looked like that he was able to see his flowers.
Yeah.
He was able. It's very rare in this day and age where someone gets to see how much they are appreciated, how much they are loved, how much impact you had on a lot of lives. His reach is unfathomable. Like the video game itself is one of the top selling video games. You don't even have to know the man, but you know the name.
And the voice.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the reach that he has, like, I don't think without Madden, dude, in EA Sports, it's in the game. Like, do we know any of, it's one of those things where that game itself introduced a whole next level of gaming, and just his reach is still going to be for years and years to come. Just the impact that he had, the All Madden team, the video game, the commentary, the coaching, all of his contributions to the sport is, I want to say, second to none.
Yeah,
I honestly want to say it's second to none. John Madden, thank you for everything. And from the three of us here, you've made a great influence on us just being podcasters.
Yeah.
Like that's a dream of mine, to be color commentary. Like, I would love to do that. I would love to have the job that he had. Like, between John Madden and Stuart Scott, they've had the biggest influence of me on this spectrum, on this side of life, and what I want to do moving forward. I really want us to be able to do something of that level. And John Madden, thank you to the Madden family, our prayers and condolences. And I'm incredibly thankful. Please give your flowers to those that you care about before it's too late. We never know when God will call another angel.
Yep.
Thank you again, John Madden.
Thank you. Yeah, we never know. John Madden started his coaching career at Allen Hancock University out in California from 60 to 61 as an assistant coach. Later on, he became the head coach of Allen Hancock from 62 to 63, and he led him to 12 wins. After that, excuse me, he was a defensive coordinator at San Diego State from 64 to 66, and then after that, he became a Raiders linebackers coach from 67 to 68. Then after that, from 69 to 78, he was the head coach. He led the Raiders to a win in Super Bowl 11. And then also he was an AFL champion in 1967, and he was the Pro Football Weekly AFL Coach of the Year in 1969. His career statistics, win-loss record, 103 wins, 32 losses, 7 ties, a winning percentage of 73%. He went 9-7 in the playoffs, and his overall record is 112, 139, and 7 ties. Unexpectedly, John Madden left us at 85 years old today. So condolences to the Madden family.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get the hell up out of here. But before we go, we have the year-end pepper, also known as the Pepper Awards. Yeah, that's the music and everything. But yes, here we are with a special edition of the Pepper Awards. What we did with this, We had our own categories. We picked our own winners. So no three answers are the same. You know how we do it. Rapid fire style, kind of sort of not really. But this time of the year, we're giving out year-end awards. And with that being said, I'll go first, all right? As mentioned earlier, in the category, the winner of the and I took that personal award goes to Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow, who lights Baltimore up for 525 yards and 4 touchdowns this past week. Wink Martindale comments was the fuel added to the fire. And it goes, and I quote, Adams, Devontae, is one of 2 top receivers in the league, and he's not number 2. Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I don't think we're ready to buy a gold jacket for Joe Burrow. When asked, did your performance today have anything to do with what Wink Martindale said? He looked at the reporter and said, maybe. Very Aaron Rodgers-esque. So let's say this. Joe Burrow, this is against one team in the regular season. Joe Burrow has passed for 941 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 interception versus the Baltimore Ravens this season. If I'm Wink Martindale, I'm somewhere sitting down somewhere drinking something with my mouth closed because Wink is not Wink's first rodeo. You cannot give the opposing team bulletin board material.
What makes that so funny was that when Wink Martindale was asked if he was going to double team Jamar Chase like they did Devontae Adams against in Green Bay, and that prompted him to say, "Well, shoot, Joe Burrow ain't a Hall of Famer yet, but you don't want to do that. Stop! Don't do it no more. Shut up."
Yeah.
But yeah.
So he pretty much just said he all right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, it'd be like, you know how to do it. All right. All right.
That award could be that award could also be named, "Oh, you've been watching film? Watch this."
Well, that's cool. Watch this. All right, so Joe Burrow, the winner of the first ever 2021 Sports Bros podcast. I took that personal award. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, I'm going with the biggest. I didn't learn anything, so I'm the Knucklehead of the Year award, and that is Antonio Brown, because this knucklehead got fake vaccination cards. Here's the thing. He might have got away with it, except that he didn't pay his chef, Stephen Ruiz, like $10,000. And so he blew the whistle on him. He knew about it and he blew the whistle. And that's because he didn't pay him. And that's what got you into trouble in the first place years ago, Antonio Brown. You knucklehead, you. Knucklehead of the Year award. Be live, over to you.
Oh my God. That is so aptly named. So my first Pepper award is going to be You Big Dummy. Fred Sanford Award. That is the You Big Dummy. And that award goes, I told you earlier in the podcast, I was coming back to it. Matt Rule, the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Oh my God. What are you doing? What have you all you've done this year is taking fertilizer, horse manure, the cockapookie, the dookie stains, and keep throwing it against the wall to see if anything sticks. You have done nothing to address the problem, which is the offensive line, and also play calling, by the way, which is sort of your responsibility. You hired a guy that's never called an offensive play ever to be your offensive coordinator. And you just what are you doing? The two quarterback system, it was cute, but no, it was cute. It certain things only last one time. You do something one time. You know why teams rarely ever run the Wildcat anymore? is because it worked for a short period of time, and then teams started to get wise up on. They still run it every now and again, a little sprinkle every now and again, but they rarely run it. But it was the next big thing a few years ago. But Matt Rule, definition of insanity: keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You big dummy, Eddie Cool, the ball.
And the next category goes to the best wrestling performance by a non-wrestler. The winner of this award goes to
Logan Paul.
No. Hell nah. I'm from the mean streets of Westlake, Ohio. Westlake is nice, okay? Come on, get out of here.
Sorry, Eddie.
Yeah. The best wrestling performance by a non-wrestler award goes to Bad Bunny. All right?
Aha.
Goes to Bad Bunny for his tremendous showing at this year's WrestleMania. At first, I was like, who is this dude? Okay, he sings a song Booker T. It's pretty nice. Then I saw him get in the ring and mix it up, and I was like, oh, he for real with it. Out there doing Canadian destroyers, flying off the top rope. Like, he actually like, look, this is what I do for a living, and Bad Bunny looked good. All right, him and the current United States champion Damian Priest, they got the W over The Miz and John Morrison in this year's WrestleMania. Honorable mention goes to Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel, as he made his AEW professional debut along with Jade Cargill as they defeated Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. Shaq got a choke slam, a power bomb, fell through the table, and they carted his behind off in the ambulance, never to be seen in a wrestling ring again. So shout out to AEW for making it happen as to where WWE dropped the ball, because we did want to see Shaq versus the Big Show, but we never got it. Over to you, Scottie D.
The one that got away.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with my next Pepper Award is the Overlooked Athlete of the Year. He's overlooked by the mainstream, but in the fight circle, you know that Kamaru Usman is a bad dude. Mm-hmm. Now, UFC-wise, the fight of the year was Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, and you guys, I think, saw that one just a few weeks ago where these dudes just brawled for 3 straight rounds. And then the upset of the year was Amanda Nunes losing to Juliana Pena. But the fighter of the year was Kamaru Usman. In 2021 alone, he knocked out Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, who might not be awake yet, hit him back in the summer. And Colby Covington, he had a unanimous decision. The 3 big challenges of the welterweight champion. Kamaru Usman still rolling. Can't wait to see him fight again in 2021. B-Live, over to you.
I like it. My second Pepper Award is going to be That Boy Good. Jackson Heights' own Mr. Randy Watson. Yeah.
The greatest love of all.
The That Boy Good award goes to Chef Steph Curry. That boy cooking. He good. And all he's done is break the 3-point most 3-pointers ever in history record with 400 some odd less games. Not only is his number 2 guy been hurt and out for the season, he's just still leading I think that they're either first or second in the Western Conference. But either way, Steph Curry is a bad dude. He's that boy good. Yeah. And he should be front runner for MVP this year without a shadow of a doubt. So for that boy good, Jackson Heights' own Mr. Randy Watson, award goes to Steph Curry. Eddie Cool, the ball.
My third and final award tonight is in the category of, it ain't over yet category. And it goes to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, they start after winning 10 games the previous season. They started this season 1-7. And we wrote them off. They're done. But they said, hold up. Not so fast. They are currently riding a 7-game win streak. And they are now 8-7 after beating the New Orleans Saints Monday night. And they have the 7th playoff spot in the AFC? Well, I know two things. Brian Flores, he gonna have another job. And number two, if the Dolphins win out and clinch a playoff spot, do not want to play them. Sure don't. Do not want two teams I don't want to play, the Dolphins and the Bengals. But the Dolphins win the 2021 It Ain't Over Yet award. Over to you, Scottie D.
Good call with the Dolphins. I wouldn't want to play the Cowboys either, man. They're good. The Cowboys are good, especially with Troy Aikman at quarterback. All right, my final award for the 2021 Pepper Award is the Pinocchio Award, going to none other than number 12 for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, who lied to all of us whenever he was asked if he was vaccinated back in the summer. He said, yeah, I've been immunized. Yeah means yes, I've been vaccinated, to answer your question. And that was a lie. And I'll tell you something, Aaron Rodgers, not only do you lie to me, but you need a haircut too, with your midlife crisis hair going on right now. You're not playing hockey and you're not going to the mall or the roller rink on Friday night. So cut your hair. Be live. Over to you.
And he's going to win MVP. And
he probably will.
Yeah.
But cut your hair when you get the award. Cut it.
Oh, God.
He looked like, I was looking at him Saturday night. I was like, why does he look like he just woke up?
he looked like he don't care, and he's playing like he got zero cares right now. He's just being a bad man.
Liar. He's a liar. His nose is growing. Pinocchio.
It's bad man. Morally and
he's bad. A bad person.
Morally and athletically.
Yes.
So my third and final Pepper point, my Pepper Award, is my very own. And I switched it up. Pre-show I did have something listed, but I made a promise that I wasn't going to bring up his name on this show ever again. So you know what? I'm holding to that. He does not get an award from me, period. He does not get mentioned. He that shall not be named. So I switched it up. And I think
Robert Kraft?
No, Robert Kraft, he's fine. He's fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
But let me put this is going to be the What Happened Be Live Award. The What Happened Be Live Award. And it's brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Keeps your head scratched. And this award goes to Russell Westbrook. Who thought that bringing Russell Westbrook, who is ball dominant, to the Lakers with ball dominant LeBron James, who thought that this was going to work?
Bad.
It's not at all. It's atrocious. That last game where he shot 4 for 20, he got a triple-double, though. He got a triple-double. He shot 4 for 20. He was minus 23 for plus-minus. That means when he was on the floor, the opposing team scored 23 more points than his team. But LeBron James went +9. So LeBron James did his job. But Russell Westbrook is just bad. And I made a TikTok video to culminate exactly how bad Russell Westbrook is. This was like one of the worst shots I've ever seen. Just look me up on Facebook, on TikTok. Your boy Be Live. But it was like, you're a slasher. You're a slasher. Don't shoot that.
I'm Russell Westbrook. I'm a slasher.
Play defense.
Let's get it. Go push up the shot.
They call you West Brick, but they call me West Splash. Let's get it. Oh my God.
We left it there for like 30 minutes. Because it's true.
It's true. Stop shooting the ball. Man, he's incredibly talented. He's athletic. He's gifted. But there's a reason why it just hasn't worked. He's had an ungodly amount of talent around him. There was a time he had James Harden coming off the bench and KD on the same team. Couldn't make it work there. Now you with LeBron James, can't make it work there. Couldn't make it work again with James Harden. It's to the point where I think it's Russell Westbrook. I think he's the problem. It is what it is. But the What Happened Be Live Award goes to Russell Westbrook. Before I pass this off, though, I want to do something extra special this week for our resident Hall of Famer. So if I could, I would like to open up an extra round of pepper for our very own Hall of Famer on his birthday, Uncle Max. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Happy birthday to the inaugural initial member of the Sports Bros podcast, Mr. Maxwell Sidney Edix, known to us affectionately as our very own Uncle Max. We appreciate you, Uncle Max, for your unwavering support of the Sports Bros podcast. You're one of the day one listeners, Uncle Max. If we ain't got nobody else, we know for certain we got you. And of course, we got you on your birthday. So happy birthday, Uncle Max. Happy birthday to the Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max.
Happy birthday, brother. From the overtime days to the Sports Bro days. You've been a good friend. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate your support.
Yes, sir, Uncle Max.
Uncle Max, in true fashion, I want to show you my appreciation for everything that you brought to.
Here we go. Two respectful birthday wishes. Here come the jokes. You can't even get it out.
Come on, man. No, this is
Here we go.
This is honest and loving appreciation, Uncle Max. We greatly appreciate everything that you brought to this program. Your unwavering support, even though all the jokes that we brought to you. And there's only but one way to finish out 2021 and celebrating your birthday, by also celebrating your high school sweetheart's birthday. Her birthday is in January.
Oh my God, you're talking about Betty White, aren't you? Are you talking about Betty White? You are. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Max, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry I ever introduced you to this jerk.
But I'm sorry. You know what? I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
My
You're
other
dragging
plan,
Betty White into it.
But my other plan though was to get him a birthday cake, but I couldn't get a fire permit.
Oh my gosh.
Candles.
See, we thought we were going to be respectful here, and you just want to light up your stand-up comedy act at the expense of the previous generation. Uncle Max, we love you, buddy. And in closing,
nothing but love, Uncle Max. 459-143. Nothing but love, baby. Nothing but love. Hey, look. If we don't pick at you, that means we don't like you, but we love you. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. Thanks for listening. We love you. You want to check out everything Sports Bros Podcast, go to the description box and click the link tree. Yes, that's right. We got all of our links all in one place. Shout out to Marcus Anderson over at A Cheesecake Will Do, because guess what? A cheesecake will do. So check them out if you're in the Myrtle Beach, North Carolina area, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area, all surrounding areas. Check them out. Get your good cheesecake and support your local businesses. And local businesses, if you want to do some business sponsorship, holler at us. Let us know something, all right? We can make it happen. And then closing for the final time in 2021, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it. Now, more than ever, be a blessing, not a burden. Know when to come, know when to stay, and know when to leave, all right? It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you. Happy New Year.
And for the last time in 2021,
yes
sir.
See you,
Uncle Max.
Love you, Uncle Max. See you next year, guys.